5 minutes until world boss, so I can run through Sammy so that you can find it, and anyone else watching as well. I'll put this on YouTube for you, Sammy. So number 1, you want 1 point in Reap. You want Essence Generation. You want Corpse Generation and Cull the Weak, because Reap will then make a Blood Orb. Very important later. You're going to max out Skeletal Mages. You'll be taking Duration Damage Bonus, Crowd Control Damage Bonus, and then you want Coven because it gives you more minions. More minions, the better. Okay? That will get you to Skeletal Warrior. You're going to max that out all the way. Damage Bonus. You want Resolve. Alright? As much as I was like, Vulnerability could be good, I feel like Resolve ended up being better. Because other shit will also stack with that as well. And of course, Master of Puppets. Good song. Skeletal Warriors, maximum number increased. You want as many minions again as possible. Now, Blood Mist. Alright? 1 point. You're going to... Sure, Gem. You're going to do movement speed. This is your mobility skill. Alright? Blood Mist increases movement speed by 30%. You're not taking a second passive on Blood Mist. Alright? Instead, Blood Transfusion. Blood Mist fortifies you for 30% of your max life over the duration and forms a blood orb every second. You'll notice a pattern. Alright? You're going to max out your Golem. You've got Commanding Golem, grants Unstoppable. I originally, if we were pushing Vulnerability, we did have damage bonus, but Unstoppable. And you'll be taking Resolve, Overpower, or Ferocity, depending on what Golem you've got. I take Garg. You can take the Glutton. Glutton can work really, really good because we're generating a lot of corpses. I personally prefer Garg. We're going down here. We're going to put 1 point into Iron Maiden. You'll be taking Execute and Fortify. Ferocity and Overpower. And you're making Blood Maiden a blood skill. So casting Iron Maiden picks up 4 blood orbs in the target's area and then causes them to burst, doing big damage. Very, very fucking cool. We're going to dump as many points as you can into Decrepify. Then, cooldown reduction. You want to be able to have it proc constantly. Originally, I thought it was better to have it so that it was giving crit chance. Then it wasn't procking as constant, and I'd rather it proc because it can proc off all minions, to my understanding. Then you've got Resolve. Enemies hit with Afflicted. Decrepify have a 25% chance to grant 1 stack of Resolve, and we're making it a life tap, meaning Decrepify is also a blood skill, healing for 22% of max life. We're going to have max life on most our gear whenever you hit an enemy afflicted with it. So the more times we can get it to proc, the better. Enemies that die while afflicted have a 20% chance to form blood orbs. So you can understand why we want both of these. We're going to put 1 point into Army of the Dead. We will be taking Army of the Dead deals a 2% increased damage for each minion because we're taking as many minions as we can. And then, of course, we want the passive bonus, which is the Volatile Skeleton every 4 seconds instead of the Corpse. If you use the other Golem, if you want to use Fell Gluttony with the corpses, feel free to take Corpse Generation. I personally prefer having Volatile, and we're taking the Unyielding Commander. As for the skill setup for the book, we are taking 3-2, so Reaper. 1 sec. We're taking Reaper. Reaper, so that they deal 50% increased damage and have a 15% chance to stun enemies. We want the stun. Shadow Mages, 1-2. So Shadow, and you want the middle. Shadow Mage bolts grant you and your Shadow Mages a barrier. I found that better than just the additional corrupting damage. I would rather get the barrier. That there is for the survivability. If you don't need to worry about survivability, consider taking the Corrupted over 6 seconds because that's big damage. But most of the time, Necro's a little squishy. You'll probably need the survivability. And then for Golem, we're doing 3-3. So we are sacrificing our Golem, and you deal 15% increased crit chance damage, but your Golem does 50% less. I'd rather have the crit strike damage. The other one we were doing was the pull. The pull was really good. One sec, the world boss is here. So you'll see there, the barrier, life, fortify is huge, which is a big protection wall. It allows you to just have that little bit more of the survivability. The helmet we're going to be wanting is Air Expedition, Materials Might, Death Grip, which is a very big piece here, Blood Moon Breeches. We want the Boots of the Void. For our hand, I am looking for an Eldruin, I believe is how you pronounce it, but right now we have a Jade Wand of Gloom, which, not the best. All of this gear can be improved, which is what we're going to be working on. We do have the Jaguar's Eye, which is the Hellbent Commander. We have a Amplified Damage, a Pact of Bone, and you can use a focus or a shield. I got lucky with the shield, so I was like, this is better than any focus I've had so far, and we are using Reanimation. We need to get a seal. I use the Black Shroud as our dominant, which is the main one that we're pushing for. But I've also added Waking Touch instead of doing the 4. You will probably not get the seal straight away, so just use any legendary seal that is good for you. Anything to do with minions. I'm using Waking Touch mainly for the set that your minions deal 60% increased damage to reduce the cooldown of Army of the Dead, and 35% of the damage you take is redirected to minions. The main reason we want that is that when we go into our gear, when one of your minions die, your other minion enrages, dealing 33% increased damage. So the Pact of Bone is huge. Very, very, very good. All right. That there is like a go-to. I think like having it so that they can take some of the damage as well, then procs that, and then you can have that rotation, if that makes sense. Thank you for watching. If this has helped, please drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get monetized here on YouTube, and it would mean the world to me. Happy farming, and of course, frog bless.